I'm just gonna hope that the framing is half decent. So yeah, what's up YouTube? My name's Loy and I'm a climber based out of Montreal, Quebec. And I'm doing a little YouTube Q&A vlog kind of thing here right now because in a couple days it'll be my 4-year anniversary since I started climbing. I have a lot of notes and reflections. So yeah, if you don't know who I am, my name's Loy and I'm a competition climber based in Montreal, Quebec, known for my very strong feats of off-the-wall strength, including one-arm hangboarding and pull-ups and one-arm pull-ups, front lever, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna kind of take you through a little reflection of the last 4 years of my climbing, and hopefully it can inspire you a little or help you figure some things out or just be enjoyable to listen to. So yeah, I started climbing August 15th, 2020. I'm gonna title this section like where I was. Yeah, August 2020 feels like such a lifetime ago. It was a very different era of my life. I was about to enter my second year of university, and my first year of university just got cut short due to the pandemic in 2020. So it wasn't all really that bad. I ended up being able to skip all of my finals for my second semester, and it was a really hard reset for me and what I was doing. I spent most of first year partying and drinking and skipping class, and although I didn't know it at the time, I was pretty lost. I was just in a new city for the first time by myself. I really wanted to run away from a lot of my responsibilities. I was really scared because I was kind of going to school, to university, because it's what you were supposed to do, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be. And I would say like a lot of like high school as well was just trying to fit in and find a way for people to like me the most. And so I wasn't truly really authentic to myself, and that's kind of a theme of the last 4 years, of growing to become more authentic to myself. But yeah, I ended up moving to Montreal early. So first year I was in residence, and second year I had my own apartment with a couple of roommates, and I ended up moving to Montreal before the semester started, a couple months before, mostly because why not, and I wanted to get away from the house and out of Toronto. I really did enjoy being independent, and so I was kind of alone in Montreal by myself. All my other friends, the people I was like partying with a lot, were still at home for the summer, so I had a lot of free time to think and to see what I wanted to do. I also rekindled my friendship over like the first half of the summer with some high school friends. These were a different group of people who I didn't really hang out with in high school, but we kind of got to hang out a little bit more because going out to the park and playing sports was the only thing that we could like do. So hung out with them quite a bit. And so when I got to Montreal, we were all watching Magnus Mippo quite a bit, and climbing gyms were one of the only things that were open at the time. And so we decided, hey, let's try this climbing thing. So I started here in Montreal at Café Block, and my friends started in Toronto somewhere. I'm not actually too sure where they were climbing, but that's how it all began. And yeah, 2 days later, I made my first ever Instagram post for my climbing Instagram. So yeah, that's where I was. Now, where am I now? I'm in a lot better of a place. Like I was saying about the authenticity, being myself, I feel like climbing has really given me the opportunity and the freedom to do what I want and to express myself in the way that I want to express myself in the world. And at every single step of the way, I've noticed that the more authentic I acted, the more me I was, the more successful, the more great, the more amazing everything was. And it's really, really scary to kind of take that jump to be yourself, but as soon as you really commit to it and just take that leap of faith, everything becomes really amazing. So yeah, now I'm here. I climb a lot. I make YouTube videos. I have a company, a climbing company called Rage Climbing that supports athletes by making high quality media for them. I post Instagram videos, yeah. That's kind of how it's been going so far. I also have a marketing job at a climbing gym here in Montreal as well, off-site climbing. Shout out to them. You guys should definitely show up to our events. It's actually tons of fun. And I'm in a really, really amazing place at the moment. I'm just literally living the dream. Every single day I wake up and working towards my passion and the things that I love, and there's nothing else I could ask for. What has changed and what has stayed the same? So, in a very real sense, everything has changed, and in a very real sense, everything is still the same. I mean, I'm a lot better at climbing now. That's one. All of my relationships with the people who I choose to hang out with, to be friends with, they're all in much better places now. But in the same way, like, it's all the same because I'm even more myself than I've ever been ever in my life. I'm like free to be just who I am. I've always kind of thought this, that people don't really change. People are always the same, but maybe they're hiding parts of themselves or shying away from certain things that have happened to them, but deep down, like the real baseline of who they is always going to be them, you know? It's like maybe you call it a soul, or there are many other things, but it's kind of like I could be the me 4 years ago and partying and drinking and kind of not a good person, and I can be the me now, and I would say we're very much the same thing. We cared about the same things, but the me of 4 years ago was too scared to really care and to really go after it, and the me now is much more comfortable with being myself and chasing those dreams. Wow, that's pretty. So, yeah, if you can take away anything from this video, it's that you should be yourself, and in anything, not just climbing, not just, well, YouTube or whatever. Being yourself is really the key. Your authentic self is the key to making things work out. Okay, but enough about that. You guys don't really care about me. You guys care about climbing, so we can talk about climbing a little bit. So yeah, I started off climbing. I did probably like a V2 on my first day in the gym, which obviously doesn't mean anything. And I climbed like a V3 on my second day, which obviously doesn't mean anything. I still consider myself a beginner at climbing. Like, there is something new that I learn every single day, and there is just so much to learn from climbing that frankly it's impossible to squish it all down into like one little thing. And you can have like a head start in the grades if you're strong or if you're naturally talented, like in movement and stuff like that. But I personally don't really see how it really changes anything in the long term about like your growth in climbing. It takes a decade plus to get good at climbing. So I'm still patient, I'm still young, I'm still a beginner learning every single day. And there's a ton that I can work on, lots of motor patterns that I can work on, and of course I can get stronger. So that's kind of like my perspective looking back on the 4 years. And it would be funny, like 4 years ago I'd probably say like, I climbed my first V6 in 6 months and I'm so cool, I'm gonna be the greatest. And now I'm thinking more in the sense that climbing is an avenue for me to express myself and for me to inspire people and for me to put good into the world. So I want to be the best climber that I can be, but becoming like the GOAT is not really one of my goals anymore. And I really don't think it's necessary. Like, I think inspiring people is way cooler than climbing any grade, and I know certainly like being the best doesn't make you a good person, and I'd much rather be a good person. I'll also still keep trying to be a really great climber, but I got 6 more years, so So that's mostly it. Let's go to the Q&A. Let's adjust the lighting. I really hope it does it justice. This sunset is beautiful. Wow. Maybe I should sit here. Okay, questions. Yeah, sorry I kind of put this Q&A post on my Instagram up a little late. I didn't really think about what I was going to do, and then it just came to me, so only 600 of you have the chance to ask a question for this Q&A. You can comment down below any questions you'd like answered, and I'll get over to you in the comments. Ethan K _climb asks what my favorite board climb of all time is. I'm not sure if he's asking what my favorite like board is in general or just like a literal specific climb. I would say my favorite climb of all time is that I've done is Real G's Move in Silence at 40 degrees V9 on the Kilter board original. That one was a really big breakthrough kind of climb for me in my climbing. It was a power endurance climb. It was also very technical, lots of footwork, lots of tension, lots of moves, and it was like mastering that boulder felt really, really amazing. And then favorite board of all time, I think I have to say like Moonboard 2016, honestly. I honestly haven't climbed on it that much, so it's kind of like not a real answer. Like Kilter is the one that I've climbed on the most, Tension board is the one I've climbed on the most recently, and both are really good. And the thing is, like, Moonboard 2016 as like a only board is kind of like not a good deal. Like it's like very too much into like one style. So if I had to choose like one board to train on for the rest of my life, probably TB2. But all-time favorite, where there's like, it's just iconic and classic, it's like the 2016 Moonboard, hands down. One day I will send Black Beauty. I promise you that. That is undeniable. It's impossible that I won't. How do you practice coordination? Do lots of coordination boulders. I would actually, so yeah, definitely do lots of coordination boulders, but I think training coordination off the wall would like equal like 4 sessions of coordination, depending on how coordinated you are already. If you've never done sports before in your life and you want to get good at like foot coordination, hand coordination too, just overall body awareness, and you should definitely go to like a field and put down some ladders and do some footwork drills, because just doing that will level you up way faster than just trying boulders in the gym. Like trying boulders in the gym is way too chaotic to really get down all the nuances. And so I think doing some ladders would speed run your coordination training a lot, and just getting stronger in general. Like being strong in pull-ups definitely helps you climb. So you should do that. It'll be good for you. Aria asked me, how do I become a Sigma climber like you? Shout out Aria. You know, be you, be authentic to yourself. I think that's what it's all about. So be you. What pair of climbing shoes are your favorite? Are they low volume or standard? This one's interesting. I think, well, like obviously low volume and standard don't really mean anything. Like every company does it differently, and sometimes it's not even lower volume, you know? Like it is, but like sometimes a lower volume shoe can fit baggier than a high volume shoe. So it's really about testing it out for yourself. Personally, I was actually going to do a YouTube video on this, and I should. Like my top 2 shoes right now for what I do, which is indoor comp climbing, are Drago High Volume Spy Scarpa. They are just truly hacks on volumes. Like you gain probably 2 V grades on those, on like pure friction smear boulders. Like they're hacks for sure, but they're really bad on anything where you have to edge. I wouldn't, like, not really bad, it's doable, it just hurts, you know? So it's more of like a, do you have to endure more pain or not kind of thing. And so I prefer to climb in La Sportiva Solution Comp Women's. They are also very soft. Right now in the summer, actually too soft. I like them in the winter when it's like colder everywhere, and my shoes like kind of feel stiffer because they literally are, the rubber is colder. So, but pretty great heel. Strap is bad, but yeah, sure. And the toe, it has like the perfect like toe kind of feeling. Like I just feel so confident edging into things because I know exactly where my toes are. It's the shoe that I've had the most experience with, so I'm kind of biased, I guess, but I've tried like 15 plus pairs of shoes. So I'll tell you that I really do enjoy the La Sportiva Solution comps the best. I feel like if I could only have one shoe, it would be that shoe. It's like a very good all-around shoe. It's a very good all-around shoe with some hacks, which is like perfect. Like I feel like the Drago is like a really good hacks shoe, but not good overall, you know? So yeah. Lucas Guy asks, I've started climbing at 17. Is it too late to hope to compete one day? No, definitely not. Competitions are for everyone. Like, even if you're not very good at climbing. And I mean, straight up, I started at 19. I'm not a pro, but I do okay for myself. So at 17, you got some possibilities. Like, I mean, obviously, it's pretty clear now that you gotta kind of start at like 8 years old if you want to be the GOAT. And even then, it's going to be very hard to become the GOAT. So yeah, you're kind of handicapped, but if your genetics are good, if your work ethic is good, and if you sacrifice your entire life for it, you could probably be pretty good at climbing. Yeah. I mean, and your question wasn't even about being good or anything. Like, just competing? Like, competing is lots of fun, and it's the best community in rock climbing. I have done a lot of things with a lot of different communities in climbing, and I'm not going to talk shit about the other communities, but the comp climbing scene is pretty special. I have heard some messed up things, so maybe not so special once you, like, you know, get into the high end and there's like only like 4 people. But the people that I hang out with and the people I've met, they've all been incredibly supportive, incredibly driven, and pretty decently good people. I think everyone in comp climbing really wants to see each other succeed, and at like the level that I'm at, it's like it doesn't really mean that much to win or anything, so it's not too bratty. Maybe once I get good, it'll become bratty, but so far it's been pretty goated. So yeah, compete, dude. 17's not too young, or not too old. Andre Escalade says, why haven't you climbed V15 yet? Because finger injuries. I'd say I just move pretty bad, I think, honestly. Like, I'm a weird climber. I think I'm overtrained mostly. Sometimes I watch myself climb, like on my Instagram or whatever, and I'm like, I look like a pro. Like, I look amazing climbing. Like, I'm executing perfectly. And then other times I look like I just started climbing. Like, I look terrible. So I think like consistency and execution has always been my crux. I have a terrible time doing exactly what I want my body to do, and I think that just takes reps, lots of reps. Shout out Zach Richardson, lots of reps. So like I said, 4 years, I'm a beginner, and I got lots of time to keep going at it and keep focusing. But right now, rest week, it's very needed, so don't forget to rest. And that's how I will climb V15, with lots of rest. Dead Van Dan asks, when did you begin to think you wanted to make climbing your life? Honestly, like, literally when I started climbing, I thought I was gonna like become the GOAT. I climbed like up to V5 pretty fast. Like, again, it literally means nothing. So, and then I like climbed V6 in like 6 months. I climbed V8 on the kilter in about 8 months ish. I climbed Wagon Light V11, but it's actually like V9 after like a year and a bit or something like that, maybe 2. So I thought I was gonna be like goated. So from like the very start, I like wanted to make climbing my life. I was pretty obsessed, and you can like scroll all the way down my Instagram to see my post history with like my 30 likes on my V6 climbs, V6 projects. So I kind of like realized it in a dumb way very early. I would say I'm a pretty bright guy, but I'm also like, sometimes I do dumb things, and committing to climbing was a pretty dumb thing in retrospect, but I really did love it, and it was something I could latch onto. And I think like you gotta have to be a little, you know, delusional. That's the word. I'm not dumb, I'm delusional. You gotta have to be a little delusional. Just go and do it. If you overanalyze, you'll never act, and if you never act, you'll never do. So be delusional. So right at the beginning, that's why I started my Instagram right away. Yeah, pretty delusional. Bandito asks, how did you get that amazing physique? Honestly, I tried hard. My intensity was at the proper level, and I have good genetics for it. It's kind of like the issue. It's like, especially if you're just climbing like I did, how you end up looking is probably like extremely dependent on the style that you like to climb and your genetics. Like you can be very good and climb all the time and still be like pretty wiry, or you could look like huge. Depends on like your style. If you're gonna go after it on like the board a lot, you'll probably get pretty huge. If you just climb slab and vert all day, you probably won't get huge. So climb a lot, have good genetics, eat a lot of protein. Eat a lot of protein. I eat a lot of protein. Let me know if you guys want to do a food video. Kai asks, how do I stop getting injuries? Rest, dude. Rest is super important. You're probably overtrained. And the issue with climbing is that like you don't even know what overtrained means. Like it's all in your tendons. Your hands have never even felt this kind of load ever before in its life. So your muscles are going to be recovered, but your tendons are going to be crying. So take extra rest, and you can't rush it. Climbing's a patient sport. Like I said, 4 years, still a beginner. Gotta go for the long run. All great things take time, so take the rest. You need it, and you'll come back stronger. How long did it take you for each V grade? Yeah, I don't like this question's kind of weird. Like it doesn't like I think it doesn't really matter. You could find some super soft thing, super in your style, like you know. So every grade is kind of different. I would say it has taken me 4 years to be about V10 level in everything, and stronger in that in some things. But I think I could climb a V10 everything at this point in my life. So 4 years for V10 everything. And then again, you know, like 2 years ago I climbed like my first kilter V10s and 9s. But yeah, don't focus on the grades. It's not that useful. Focus on getting good at climbing and getting good at the movement and getting good at the different styles, because that's what's important, like moving well. Like I climbed V9, V10 2 years ago, and I climbed like terribly. I'm such a better climber now. And yeah, I climb harder than back then, but you know, like you're not good at climbing if you climb V9 is kind of what I'm trying to say. Did you plateau at some point? If so, how did you overcome it? It's kind of, I wouldn't say I plateaued. Plateauing is like a complicated thing. There's always something to learn in climbing, so plateauing doesn't really make sense. I've gotten injured and progressed slower, but I've never plateaued. Like I've never been stuck at something. I mean, like if you want to talk like purely grades, you could say like I've been plateaued for like 2 years at V10, but that's like not really true, because I don't project anything harder than V10, and I do V10s in like a sesh now in the gym mostly, hopefully. And so I don't like climb like I did before. Like 2 years ago I was project heavy, and now I'm kind of like I just show up and do things more in the comp mindset, so kind of hard to say. And I would say if you take a look at my competition resume, I've never plateaued. I started comp climbing 2 years ago. All my competition results are relatively up, so I think that's a better stick to look at me from, because I would consider myself mostly a comp climber. Out of all the years you have climbed, do you have a proudest achievement? I think I'm gonna cop out and say like Rage. Rage is my company. It's a climbing company, and I kind of started it from nothing, like so nothing, and it has become a really strong community of people, and I think I can make a really big difference in the industry, and that's what I hope to do. And so I think I'm by far the proudest of being able to do that and to push climbing forward. Someone asks, hi, I want to go from V7/V8 to V9, but I think that the gap is huge. Can you help me? Basically, just do whatever you're really bad at, and you'll get better. So if you're really weak, you should just get stronger, because getting stronger is pretty consistent, and sooner or later you'll climb V9. Like, I wouldn't focus on the grade. Just do the thing that you're terrible at, and eventually you'll get there. Okay, boom, lighting. I miss the sunset talking to you guys. I got too many questions. Harvey asks, how do you train for your insane pull-up strength? Do pull-ups. Like every single physical exercise, you just want to increase your capacity and then increase your speed. So if you're not pulling body weight pull-ups yet, start by doing like plus 100% body weight pull-ups. You should start doing that. Just do it like twice a week, once a week. I would say once a week if you're a climber, because you don't really need it. It's not super necessary, but like if your goal is to do pull-ups, gotta at least have it once a week. 3 sets, 4 reps, increase the weight every single time, go hard, and then once your 1 rep max is about your body weight, you can start focusing on speed. So band assisted, as fast as possible, explode. And you're increasing your velocity, that increases your strength, that increases how explosive you can be. Basics for literally every single strength thing ever. You can apply it to everything. So do that. Jake asks, what was your athletic background prior to climbing? Yeah, so I was a multi-sport athlete in high school. Been playing sports since I was like 13 probably or something, 12, I don't know. Grade like 3. In high school I did basketball, volleyball, track, and ultimate frisbee. Track I ran 100 meters, the 4x100 relay, triple jump, long jump, and high jump. So very athletic. And then I also played club volleyball outside of school. I played 3 seasons of that. 1 season I played 2 years up, so I was pretty good at volleyball. And then I powerlifted from 16 to 17. Powerlifted for 4 months. I gained like 15 pounds, or like 20. I went from like 135 to 155, 20 pounds. Do math. First time I ever deadlifted, I deadlifted 275 pounds, and then my lifetime PR is 405 pounds. So I have pretty good genetics. Maybe not necessarily for climbing. I have an idea for like what I think the GOAT like climbing genetics are, but I'm pretty okay. Right now I weigh about 150-ish, a bit under that right now I think. I'm 5'7" with like minus like 1 centimeter, and I have 5'9" reach, so decent. But fat legs from powerlifting. T. Matiz asks, how good should I expect to become in my first year? I'm currently a V6 to V7 climber. If you're like not even past your first year and you're climbing V6 to V7, then you're pretty good, dude. Don't focus on the grades. Just keep focusing on moving well. Try to find some really better climbers to climb with, and you'll improve. And don't neglect anything. Don't neglect slab. Don't neglect the board. Don't neglect the cordos. Do everything. I mean, you can like cherry pick like some V9 probably and do it, but that's boring. Become good at climbing. Keep the long-term mindset. Austin asks, what inspiration, goals, and mindset did you have towards creating climbing content? This one's interesting. Instagram, I kind of just wanted to post my stuff. Actually, here, this is more interesting. The thing that really blew up my Instagram is becoming more me. Like what did I want to do with my Instagram? Before I just posted my climbing, but there was no like personality to it. It was just kind of like a diary of my climbing. But growing up, like I was a powerlifter, so for those like couple months I was pretty in deep with like all the bodybuilding stuff, all the fitness stuff, and I still am pretty inspired by the body like fitness Instagram. I think it's very inspiring to see people push their bodies to their limit, and I think it's like pretty badass and epic what they do. So I kind of basically combined fitness Instagram and climbing together, and then that's kind of like the formula that I use for Instagram now, and it definitely works. And now that I've said that, I think you can like basically look at my reels and be like, oh, yo, that totally makes sense. But yeah, I basically took the fitness Instagram formula and put it onto climbing, and it's working out. And it's something I really always wanted to do because I think it was missing. There's like a complete hole in climbing for that type of stuff, and it's working out. For YouTube, I kind of just wanted to do vlogs and have fun with my friends. I didn't think it was gonna do well at all. Like the fact that my first YouTube video is like at like 3,500 views right now is pretty ridiculous. Like for our first YouTube video ever. Having the skills as a videographer before, and Toma's a great friend and we had a great chemistry. It seemed to work out. Gotta get him on the YouTube more often. So YouTube doesn't really have a strong goal yet, but Instagram, that's my thought. And I'm definitely more of an Instagram main anyways. I'm like the opposite of like Zach and Maddie, where they're like a YouTube main. Aaron asks, what does your weekly routine look like in terms of fitting in climbing and any other training? I've like gone through a lot of different training protocols. I would say like the one that I've done the most is like 2 days on, 1 day off, my hard warm up, and like trying really hard. Yeah, that's like mostly it. So train 2 days, 1 rest day, and then just repeat that on cycle, and take more rest weeks than you think you need, because I definitely burnt myself out. That's basically what it is now. Yeah, it's nothing like fancy or anything at all. So like I literally just climb. People think that I do a lot of like training and stuff, but bro, I just climb. I do my warm up. I do like some training in my warm up, but it's like really not anything, and then I go climb. How do you keep yourself motivated to post on social media? Tom asks. I really like it. I know it's not for everyone, but with Rage and everything, I'm gonna try to like help people make it their thing. Like it's something that you learn. Like if you think about it, I've been doing it for like over a decade. I had like a personal account that was growing like normal like amounts, like you just have friends and stuff and you post, and like I cared about posting. And then I had my fitness account, and then now climbing for the last 4 years. So, and then also like I had Rage, I had my McGill climbing Instagram. Like I'm pretty into it, and it's like something that you can learn. You know, it's a formula. There are things that you do that you just need experience in, and then you do it. So with that, I'm gonna do like a social media 101 with like all the Rage athletes to like help them like grow their social media and stuff. So I keep myself motivated by like you guys. Like you guys are inspired by what I'm doing, and if I can inspire someone else just to try a little bit harder, then it's all worth it. And I know that someone is gonna watch my video and become the next GOAT. That's like, I hope that happens. I just want, like, it's also the same thing with Rage. Like I want to create Canadian climbing heroes. I just want to create heroes in general. Like people, I want to put good people in good positions so that other people can look up to them and become more good people. Yeah, you guys are the cool kids. Luke, shout out Luke, my roommate. What is the biggest lesson you have learned from climbing as an athletic discipline? I go back and forth between like if climbing is special or not. I don't think it's that special. I think like climbing is the thing that I do. I don't think it's like better than any other sport, but it is a pretty cool sport. You know, it's very, very technical, very physical, and there aren't many sports in the world that like marry the level of technique and the level of physicality that you need in climbing. What have I learned? I don't know if I've learned that much from climbing itself. Like I feel like I'm more like learning about me, learning about myself, and then applying that to climbing, and that's like unlocking things. There's a good quote that I really like to quote: once you know the way broadly, you see it in all things. So I go mostly from like my philosophical standpoint. I learn things, and then I see it in all of the disciplines of my life that I do, whether it be climbing or video editing or social media or anything like that. It's all the same. It's all the same. Aiden asks, have you had elbow injuries? What did you do if you did? I briefly had like some like elbow or bicep tendonitis kind of stuff when I was like spamming pull-ups because of my finger injuries, and it's just overuse injury. So just rest, eat more protein, and sleep more. And if you're just like climbing and you're getting it, do some more pull-ups. Part of it is like your capacity is so low, so like you're climbing and you don't really need that much pull-up strength, but you're basically operating at like 80% of your maximum capacity at all times, which is like a lot of intensity for your body. But if you get stronger in pull-ups and your pull-ups like increase by like 50 pounds, then all of a sudden like your climbing only operates at like 50% of your pull strength, and then you're going to be able to handle that much better. So do some pull-ups actually. Duvon asks, were you already strong fit when you started climbing? I was definitely strong, and I wouldn't say fit. I was partying for like a whole year, drinking ungodly amounts of beer. So I had a couple extra pounds on me, but I still had like a decent like base like fitness. So like losing a little bit of weight and then training hard like definitely got me up to snuff. But I would say it probably took me about like it's hard to say. Like, I mean, you can kind of go on my Instagram and like see, and if you look critically, you can see like the strength difference and the coordination difference. But I was always like, if you were like kind of a normal person and you like looked at me, you would say I was like strong at the beginning, you know. Yeah. Veyes asks, how do you recover from a finger injury and how do you train your fingers? Rest and don't do crazy things. I think like I have 2 overuse injuries and they're kind of fixed now, but it's because I rested and I didn't like force it. Also, climbing like on your muscularly is like super important, I think, in like preventing injury. You can still mess up your fingers, but knowing the difference between like active flexion and passive tension kind of changes everything. So search that up. If you need me to explain it, I can help you. DM me or comment down below. Miz also asked how many times a week do you train? I train four or five-ish. Not too much. I mean, I used to do like 6 and I was cooked. So don't do that. 4 is a good number. Like 2 on, 1 off, or every other day. It's good. Lucas asked, can you walk us through your flexibility mobility routine if you have one? I'll make a YouTube video one day. Okay, perfect. Last question by Asher. How did you stay dedicated, motivated, inspired, and psyched as a whole? Honestly, I didn't. I've had my ups and downs and mountains and valleys, and that's just how it always will be. But if your purpose is coming from yourself, coming from within, then you can keep the boat sailing in the right direction. Maybe you'll curve a little bit, maybe you'll sway a little bit, but in the end, you're still going in the right direction. And so knowing that it's for you, knowing that you're doing this from an authentic place from yourself, really gives you the opportunity to keep going. But I've had many times where I wanted to quit or I wanted to give up because I felt like it was all worth like for nothing. Like, I mean, it was really hard for me. Like, I was in school, I was studying philosophy and comp sci, and although I wasn't partying anymore, like training took a lot of my time. And I mean, I'm at one of the best universities in the entire world, McGill University in Montreal, and I knew if I had dedicated as much time to like CS or just school in general, like philosophy too, like I could have like a real job or something, or a proper job. And it was super risky to like pour everything into climbing. And I would have sessions where I didn't do much, and I would be like, what I've spent the last 3 years of my life doing this sport, and I'm bad. Like, I'm not good at this sport. What am I supposed to do? And I had that thought relatively often. Especially like I started climbing with Thomas, I started climbing with Vic, I started climbing with all these like super high level athletes, and like the gap is ridiculous. But I knew it was going to be something more, and I knew it was for myself, and it didn't matter. This was what I wanted to do, and so I did it. It'll all work out. That's kind of what I just kept thinking to myself, and it did. It really did. I took the leap of faith to do it, and I'm living the dream. Every single day is a dream. It's incredible to like find peace like that. Yeah. Okay, this was a really long video. I'm gonna say some last motivational words, I think. Life is gonna throw you a couple curveballs. It's gonna toss some storms at you. And the only way to weather the storm is to be yourself. Think about all the things that you're doing. Are you doing them because you want to, or are you doing them because you're hiding from something? And when you start doing the things that you truly want to do, you start becoming truly yourself, and you start acting out the proposition that there is good in the world, and I can put good into the world. Everything starts turning up. Okay, yeah, I'm going to end with something motivational. This is a poem by Charles Bukowski, Roll the Dice. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision, mockery, isolation. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. Keep going. I believe in you. You got this, and we're all going to make it together. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys next week.